What's good, y'all? Finally got around to getting a GoPro, and figured I might as well give you a rundown on this AR5 swap that I recently done, because I blew up my recent W58. Battery's gonna die soon, so I'll give you a quick overall. Running the JZX 110. Well, first off, this is a 07 Solstice AR5 side mount bullshit. Basically running a JZX 110 shifter. It's pretty much converted it to an R154, and it sits a little bit further up rather than the W58, but it's not even really too crazy. Go ahead and bring it up on the lift. Alright, now that we got the car up off the ground, on the lift safely, on the locks, I'll basically go over kind of like clutch and flywheel all the way back to the driveline. So basically like I said, conversion of the R154 kit from Drift Motion, and it is a 07 Solstice trans. So starting off with the flywheel, running a Drift Motion one along with a action clutch. 6-puck sprung. The clutch feels pretty good. It's a little on the heavier side, but it's like very sprung and still very streetable. OEM or ASIN replacement R154 slave, along with all internal, basically pull type R154 factory Toyota parts, clutch fork, throw bearing, all of that. And then it is a 07 Solstice box with a 1J or 2J bell housing. Does fit pretty snug. I went this route just because I didn't want to go big bulky adapter plate or have to cut a bell housing, etc., etc. All this stuff just bolts right up using this 1J and 2J bell housing. And basically we're just converting it to an R154. ASIN does make the trans, obviously, so stuff like that is very convenient. Shouts out to them. I did have to swap out the front retainer plate for the R154. Make sure you get the seal, and then obviously you'll have to RTV all of that that front plate back on. And it's a 6-bolt plate. It all bolts right up. Obviously RTV it. And I would recommend putting the basically RTV on those 3 lower bolts on that front retainer plate, just because they do see fluid. Obviously I do prefer running a thread locker, so all these pressure plate bolts are thread lockered along, and then the flywheels torqued to yield with ARP hardware. Going back past the box, the rear tail housing on these things, I know the Colorados are different. The rear tail housing on this one is a side mount because it originally bolts up to almost like a torque tube style, I want to say. But basically running the 2 longer bolts up top, and then made a bracket off some shop scraps, welded some up, and then using a GM trans mount, or GM style I'd say, and then using my factory W58 cross member that bolts it right up to the chassis. And then going backwards, running the Drift Motion adapters off of the trans, and then a kind of like beefier style U-joint. I know a lot of guys do prefer using the OEM Solstice or Sky CV style drive shafts, just because it is, I want to say, they said it kind of like takes out a good amount of vibrations, but a lot of people do recommend, if you do run into vibrations, almost shimming this cross member, because obviously you want to check your driveline angles. And then basically sent out my measurements for the drive shaft out the drift motion, and then yeah, kind of bolted right up. Didn't have any issues with fitting, and basically the drift motion adapter on the differential side too. It is the they offer two different styles on this one. It is the smaller adapter for my 94 SC300, and I do run it with 3.9 gear. Unfortunately, it is just a welded, but looking to upgrade to a two-way hopefully soon. But yeah, it's a pretty convenient swap. Obviously, it's just converting it to an R154, just like I've been saying, but running their drift motion supplied basically like a 2J, 1J clutch line also, and then a factory ASIN clutch master as well. I know for the Colorados, obviously, with an internal throwout bearing, they want you to upgrade to a 7/8 bore master, like a Land Cruiser, I believe. But I have no issues with this pull type style and a factory R154 slave. The length's all good, using a Supra clutch master. So just figured I'd give you guys a rundown on this. I know a lot of people want to like swap out the rear tail housing, but unfortunately no one was selling one local to me, so I kind of just made it of what I had. And I've taken it on the highway, made a pretty good speed, and had no crazy vibrations. The only ones I did notice was on decel, but that was at very higher speed. So, but overall, not really complaints. Looking to test it out this weekend, and figured I'd give you guys a little rundown on this. So, cheers. It's been a minute since I made a video, but yeah, figured I'd give you guys a rundown if you guys go this route. So, cheers.